Hello again, everyone. Another video sponsored by this time Anonymous again. I'm not exactly sure where to start. I do know, though, that I'd rather remain anonymous due to reasons I'm sure most could understand. I've just recently began educating myself on personality disorders, mainly NPD and BPD. Reading loads of material, watching YouTube videos, doing as much research as I can. So my ignorance on certain things won't be used against me again. That's how I happened to cross your channel, Ollie. It's mind blowing hearing my story being told over and over again, as you as you've covered in some of your videos. Your videos make the videos you make, along with other abuse survivor stories and comments, help to provide a tremendous amount of validation and insight. So thank you. I'm now 40 years old. Despite everything, I have managed to live a pretty successful and exciting life, accomplishing the main goal priority I've worried about and feared since I can remember. Turning out to be the complete opposite of my parents and having children that actually have had a childhood, have grown together, forging a close, loving, most of all, appropriate bond between one another, and have and are growing up to be free, independent thinkers, having the majority of their life a whole lot better than I did. My therapist tells me that I'm being in a safe and stable environment, living a relatively calm and peaceful life. The memories that have been repressed for so long are ready to start seeping to the surface. They first started coming back without warning and out of nowhere when I was 39. I'm not going to complain that I thought I was done with all that and left it behind. Bad shit happened, of course I knew that, or why else would the mind need to block it out? I had lost chunks of years of my childhood, through the teen years, the good along with the bad. That's one thing I've always known. As of recently, the more I educate myself, spontaneously returning memories contributing, I've discovered that both sides of my parents' family are riddled with narcissists and sexual predators. And that's what you find when the light starts getting shined on what happened to you in a narcissistic family. You're going to see it's not one or two narcissists. It's usually an entire family of them. And then you sprinkle in the sexual predators on top of that, and there you go. You're 40 years old, and you're at a breaking point in your life that you didn't expect to have. My dad is an obvious covert narc who I believe all this time hid behind my mother's crazy, feeding his pity party crave. My mother is a complete psychotic. Not sure if she is more NPD or BPD. My older brother is the obvious golden child narcissist who I grew up calling precious, and I the scapegoat. I'm the only one in my immediate family who didn't turn out broken. Gee, it sounds like we come from the exact same family. Except precious for me was my younger brother. Not trying to overinflate my abuse over anyone else's at all. And here we go again. Stop validating your abuse. You're broken. You're broken. You don't need to compare your abuse to anyone else's and try to make excuses for it. I've come to understand that all of us narcissistic abuse survivors have been abused by the same tactics, just at varying levels. So here is the skinned overview of the unforgotten and the decades of repressed, now returned memories of my parents' family tree and legacy. I hope they're proud. Not. Here it goes. Over 3 decades later, the true double life of the narcissist, told by the scapegoat's perspective and experience. Forced participation, differing from the golden child's over-eagerness and willingness of participation, and all in the name of ploys fueled by jealousy for the crave of attention. I personally believe that all involved were forced and exposed to witness, and some participate in things that animals shouldn't have to see, including the adult inflicting the abuse at some point in their lives. Why else would they be the way they are? My mother's side of the family started with both of my grandparents on down. Style of choice was cult-like, ritual abuse, stemming from my grandmother's self-proclaimed, supposed passed down from generation religious mix of Wicca, paganism, white magic, and she still dabbed in black magic. Oh, God. Also, she claimed to be a healer since her adolescence. I always thought the woman was just delusional. They all proved their devout commitment to their religion and proved that they employed their practices. They made it known that they were absolutely anti-Christian and preached against the accuracy and damnation of all three Christian figureheads. No offense to anyone on this taboo subject. So it's just another religion. It's just an anti-Christian pagan religion. Ugh, God, what a bunch of attention whores. What a bunch of fucking attention whores. They fit right in on a college campus these days, though, I bet. As out there as it sounds, these people were dead serious and believed without question everything the family doctrine, as they called it, as truth, fact, gospel, and the only way. It was like a mini private on again, off again Jonestown, we were told. Yeah, and I'm sure they were dead serious. They're dead serious in their act. Because in their act is their control and this belief that they have some kind of magical power that you don't have, so don't cross them or be destroyed. On the public persona, it was claimed old-time strict Baptist who didn't believe in the Holy Spirit. We only went to service one day a year for show, Easter Sunday. Brand new dresses and all, had to keep up appearances. We were warned to make it believable. Why would you have to make it believable on Easter? Everybody shows up to church. Well, not me anymore, but back in the day, everybody went to church on Easter. Where is it making it believable? What a bunch of psychotics. We were warned to make it believable. After the service, public appearance, act and show off, be seen, as they called it. The dress and outfits weren't to be seen again. It was a different, expensive dress even every year, even with $50 of real fresh flower corsages. To top it off, they said, that doesn't even scrape the surface of their hypocrisy. My first memory of this was at age 4 years old. I was introduced to the locked door that always had a towel shoved under the bottom of the door. I had been suspicious over the years about the door. I was just warned to stay away from it. My grandmother unlocked the door with a large key. She called it a skeleton key. And in a room filled with boys stripped down to their underwear, not even socks, stood. I remember their first words with a smile. So you're the little girl we've all been hearing playing. Brings a chill to my spine. Jesus Christ. All that time I didn't know. No one knew they had a locked room full of boys in their home. Wow, you guys are putting me to the test today. Holy shit. I was thrown in face down, and the door locked behind me. All the boys had the same colored army green underwear, just in different styles. Their ages ranged from 6 years old to the oldest, tallest boy, who was anywhere from 17 to 19 years old, and around 6 feet tall. Some of the boys told me they were my cousins from my mom's sister that I didn't even know had children. The rest of the boys, I don't know who they were. I was the only girl cousin that didn't live on the other side of the country, and of course it was my fault. So I was the only girl that was or would be put in the room with all of the locked up boys. It was some serious flowers in the attic shit. Oh Jesus, well that's what I thought, flowers in the attic. The room had the most horrific stench I had ever smelled. The air was even toxic to breathe. I was choking and gagging. It reeked of urine. There was a metal urine bucket. It smelled worse than butt, but I remember I was only 4. Smelled like something died in there. That was all of that rotted, leftover, spoiled meats and parts of whole cooked chicken stashed under the bed. There was another really strong smell that I didn't know what it was. The tallest boy told me it was sex, which I didn't know what that was at the time. The boys closely resembled a pack of animals raised by wolves, establishing territoriality, dominance, alpha status, etc., just to survive. All I knew was that I wanted out of that room, to leave that place and never come back now. But that wasn't happening. There was captivity, confinement, starvation, dehydration, the most severest forms of child neglect. I have a feeling these were foster kids for some reason. That's what it sounds like. That's where they would be able to get like 7 boys like that, all different ages. What the fuck? Depending on the duration of time served, boys strapped and chained to the bed for standing up against our captors, with heavy cement cinder blocks laid on the bed to weigh it down. They were all warned and saw what we would get for whoever dared try to help or move those blocks and so on. I learned about homosexuality, bisexuality, things that adults do to children they're not related to. Learned that my uncle had a thing for young boys. Learned that it didn't matter if you were related or not. People still did things to people they were related to. Adult boys, related, non-related, it didn't matter to these people. The only thing that mattered is they got what they want. That's probably the biggest thing I learned in captivity. It was all about the captors. Related or not, strangers or not, they were all adults. It was all about getting what they wanted at whatever expense. It didn't matter whose. There were random flashes of light in the darkness when we were sleeping. I now think it was a camera. I would think it probably right. Perverts love recording shit. The windows were boarded up. The door was boarded up after it was broken to pieces. Huge holes smashed in it, and up and down, big splintery, deep cracks from a 4-year-old's perspective. The hinges pulled out of the frame from the inside out. After the uprising from all the boys at the expressed outrage and intolerance of a girl being thrown in there, especially a little defenseless, beautiful 4-year-old girl with long strawberry blonde, locked pigtails that smelled so good, and being I was first cousins to some of the boys in there, it hit a nerve. None of them could handle it. Once I was thrown in there, that's when they smashed and broke the door to hell, some breaking their arms, ramming the door with their shoulders in an attempt to escape, what my grandfather called revolution. He was an alcoholic World War II fighter pilot veteran who was clearly still fighting the war. The oldest, tallest boy, since the first day, started talking about time, how all we have in there is time and serving time. He had related it to a boys' reformatory and male prison. He told me that that's what kind of time we were serving while in captivity. I had eventually grasped the concept of what he meant and started referring to it in mental notes as time. I had also been there long enough, and so much happened. I began referring to the place we were in as room and outside. I'd almost forgotten what the world was like outside that door. At times we were taken out of the room in pairs only. I'm not going to get into all of it. It's too difficult. That's where the indoctrinating, brutal beatings, cruel and unusual punishments, brainwashing, and other stuff occurred. I began referring to and changing perspectives on things, such as the light in the room was called light, the bedroom door was called door, and the closet was no longer called closet. I was introduced to the term wardrobe by the oldest boys in there. That was one of the rules the boys had for me while in there. I was under no circumstance to go into wardrobe, go anywhere near wardrobe, or play anywhere around wardrobe. Where do you even play in there? It was a dangerous, bad place, not meant for me, to keep me safe and to stay away from it. Don't go anywhere near it, no matter what, and most certainly don't go in there. There weren't any threats or punishments in place for me by the boys. Believe me, their reasons was justified and in my best interest. I learned almost the hard way, but I learned. So there it was, room, light, door, wardrobe. It was like it had taken on a life of their own. And of course, let's not forget time. Ollie and the rest of the viewers, I don't know what else to do here other than be honest and tell the truth. Living around, being around in the presence of these individuals, my parents, all this time, even them being around my own children, acting like happy, good, normal people. Oh my God. They never got caught? I was really hoping there was some kind of rescue or getting caught in here. Holidays, birthdays, special meaningful events, all the while knowing and remembering everything they had done and allowed to be done, relishing in the fact that their own child was standing next to them, beside true friends and family, smiling, happy as a lark, knowing full well their own child was completely oblivious to any of this that had happened, and no realization of the knowledge on the depth of darkness that ran in the biological bloodline of their own family. I'm sorry this is a no-brainer, I know, but this really pisses me off. I'm struggling not to hate these people all over again. Why? 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 You have every right to hate them. I had to let go of that a long time ago and moved past it. You didn't move past it though, because you're here now. I guess I am complaining after all. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I really think if you're not an NPD, BPD, APD, antisocial, abuse survivor, you don't know what it means or what it's like to truly hate. That word has been used so loosely, so much in everyday society since I can remember. That stuff will consume you and literally eat you alive from the inside out, till you're teetering the fine line of the point of no return, where a person can only control and cage the beast for so long. For those of you that have experience with true rage, you'll know what I'm talking about. Only those that are blessed or fortunate make it back. Hey, that's just me, my opinion. Anyway, I can't go any further into this at this time. I'm sure most can understand. My apologies for the lengthy message. I have a composition book, a quarter inch of another filled out with a quarter of another filled out with details of this particular event. Sorry if it's lackluster or cut off. I spent weeks on this, both contemplating and writing, not sure where to start or where to end. Anyway, again, my apologies. If you choose this for a video or not, that's fine. I understand either way. To anyone that may have shared experiences, any feedback, advice, comments, or whatever would be greatly appreciated. Thanks again for all your effort. I can only vouch for myself. It makes a difference. I'm going to type this up, see what I can do with it. If you have patience for this, you are awesome. Joke. Thank you. Anonymous. Well, I think you made the comment in there that you stood there with your parents and they had no idea what was going on to their own child. I find that very hard to believe. There's no way. How the fuck do you hold 7 children, family members, in a room, chained up, and come on. Come on. Did this stop? Couldn't have just stopped on its own. Does it continue? Does it continue in a different way? Look, you seem to be concerned about how you're being perceived and hating them. And because things didn't maybe rise to the level of what happened to the boys, your view is just the same. You should have no contact with any of these people, because there is no way your parents didn't know. Of all the stories I've read, and I'm not saying this to make you feel bad, this is the most fucked up thing I've hears about shit like this in the news, but this is probably the worst story I've gotten. I'd love to know how you got out and how this ended, but I mean, I understand, and I think everybody understands how difficult it probably was for you to just say this. Your priority is your children at this point. You cannot risk them ever having anything to do with these people. It sounds like they might have already had, but you need to cut that shit off quick. Quick. You have every right to your feelings. You have every right to your hate and to your rage. Continue to work it out in therapy. As if you have it seems like you have a therapist who understands what you went through, understands the disorders. This is the extreme of the extreme, though. To hold 7 children and make them piss and shit in a bucket and rotting food in their underwear, and God knows what's in that wardrobe. Probably another family member. It's probably like a stairway to a basement or something, where Rapey McRape Uncle is down there and God knows what. This is the most extreme of narcissistic abuse. And I'm saying this to everybody, because if this woman can sit here at 40 years old and question if her hate is justified and if she should hold on to it and feeling bad about it and having a relationship with the parents after what happened to her, then it's no wonder all of us have the same issues. It's no wonder. I mean, I'm sure everybody else who's reading this is like, Jesus Christ, get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. And she can't see it. So even thus who weren't chained to something or didn't rise to this type of cult-like narcissism where there's actual a sex cult going on with family members. If that's not immediately obvious to the person that's abused, anybody else's story isn't. And once you're broken, you're broken. So, and this isn't even to compare other people's stories, but this is some horrific shit. But thank you for the donation to the channel. Thank you for your story. Extremely, extremely brave to open up like this. So I really appreciate it. When you're ready, please send me a follow-up to the story. I would love to know more details, and I'm sure a lot of other people will too. So thank you once again. Thank you everybody who's watching. Please leave your comments below. If you want a video of your own made, you know what to do. PayPal link is in the description box below. Make the donation and I'll make a video for you immediately. This one really threw me off, everyone. All right. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again soon. Bye.